Okay, so we're going to talk about the participles of the three athematic verbs, tithemi, histemi, and didomi. The best way to, I think Belisi and I agreed, we were just chatting about this, that given what we already taught you, can probably guess immediately any one when you see one. But the simplest way to approach this is to look on page 395 in the book at the aorist participles, okay, which are dus, dusa, don, okay, thes, thesa, then, and stas, stasa, stan.
Right.
Dus, dusa, don,
Then we have these.
thes, thesa, then, and stas, stasa, stan. Circumflex, yep. And stas, stasa, stan. So remembering that how these work, okay, that's the aorist participle because it's not reduplicated, okay. If you memorize these 9 forms, you'll have the whole system, okay? Because if you want to make that's the aorist participle, you want to make the imperfective aspect or the present participle, you just put d in front of it. It's deduce, deduce, dedon, tithes, tithesa, tithen, histas, histas, histan.
It's pretty easy.
As easy as that. To make the perfect ones, you're going to do de. Well, something else is going to happen there, but you'll recognize them when you see them, okay? But there's going to be a reduplication with an e, okay? I don't think there's anything that's dedokos and it works with the principal part. Hestos is the only one that's tricky. Let's look at that for a second. For the perfect participles of these verbs, it's hestos, hestosa, hestos, okay? So hestos, circumflex over the omega, and hestosa, and hestos with an omicron, okay? With not an alpha but an omicron there.
Oh,
sorry, my bad. Okay, hestos is the neuter, nominative, accusative, and then hestotos is the genitive, hestoses and hestotos, and so forth. Otos with an omega, not an omicron. My bad. Jeez.
Sorry.
So there's you have your reduplication with an e, so from sesto, and so even then there's a os via. Os is what you would expect, but it's os, osa, os. So that's what's different about this particular form. But I think that if you keep their principles in mind, you'll be fine. The same thing goes for the middle participles. Okay, so if we give them to you, the aorist middle ones, we got dominos, on rather, stamenos, on, and theminos.
That's what you're saying.
Yep.
The endings.
Yep, and eminos, on, okay,
Yep.
theminos. So,
oh.
And then so those are the aorist forms, and then the so-called present participles are going to be didominos, histominos, and titheminos. Okay, no serious difficulties there. Okay.
Sorry, I'm having technical
Take your time.
difficulties. How do I unselect? There it goes. All right.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well done. All right, so that's the participles of the athematic verbs. This lesson also introduces you to a really interesting development from the athematic verbs. There's one class of athematic verbs that's actually a living category. In other words, what you've done is they've been regularized, if you will. So some of the major irregularities have been analogized out of them or removed from them. The standard verb is the verb deik, D-E-I-K, nume. Okay, let's divide it up in that way. Deik, nu, and then me. Okay, so effectively the root there is deik. It's the same as if you know Latin, as the root of dico, to speak, which actually means to point at and stuff like that in Greek. This root verb means point in Greek, not speak. But that said, what happens is that there are a bazillion verbs in Greek with this nume suffix, and you can see there's no thematic vowel between the nu and the me, right? So that's the present. there's no, what you've removed from these new category or living category of athematic verbs is the vowel changes in the stem. So there's no other form of the present in the present stem or in the aorist of dake with a different vowel or something like that. The aorist of this verb is edeksa, just a regular old SA aorist. The future is dekso, and the perfect is dedecha and stuff like that. So it's all been regularized. Everything is, in other words, is like a regular verb, except for the present system, the imperfective aspect. So you've got deiknume, deiknus, deiknuse, okay, the endings that we're used to from now, getting used to now from the thematic verbs. Deiknumen, deiknute, deiknuase, that's the third person plural. And then the imperfect, you have edeiknun, edeiknus, edeiknu, edeiknumen, edeiknute, and then the third person plural, edeiknusan. You can see these forms in the book on page 399. In the middle forms, they're even more regular than the regular verbs, because again, you have no contraction in the second person forms. So it's deiknusai is you point out for yourself, and deiknusa is you were pointing out for yourself. Okay, so these forms are really easy to understand and to identify. There's no thematic vowel between the stem and the ending, and it has the funny endings, but just in the present and the imperfect forms, okay? And they represent a very large class in Greek, and we'll learn more about them. So the book lays out for you the imperative forms, the participial forms. There are no surprises, okay? I just looked these over, and you should be fine, okay?